Welcome to our new episode, Dr. Machaba. I am Dr. Machaba, and you're watching the podcast of Conversation with Dr. Machaba. I'm so excited. Today, I'm actually interviewing Aamirah Ngwenya, one of my favorite celebrities and moms. Aamirah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm good. Good.
You know, Aamirah, I'm so excited to host you because you were actually one of my moms, as I'd like to put it, because you actually brought your child to my practice, that I got to meet him and actually be a pediatrician. Do you remember that time?
Yes, 100%. I mean, I know we haven't seen you in a while because he's been very well behaved with his health.
Yeah.
So that's been, that's been special and obviously very convenient.
Yeah.
But I mean, in fact, you can bring me up to speed. I've even lost track if there are any other vaccines and things that we need to be doing. I think the first 18 months goes by so quickly, and then eventually there's this pause.
Yeah.
But yes, I do remember my first encounter with you. My son was still doing hydrotherapy. I can't remember the exact month, but it was definitely in the early months.
Yeah.
He was under 6 months, I think.
Yes,
and you obviously assisted me with the routine checkups and the required vaccinations that he would have needed to obviously have up to date, according to the health standards. And I mean, you monitored his development up until you kind of freed me to say, now it's just the next year, you top up something. And that's why I say, maybe you're going to have to bring me up to speed, because I was thinking about it the other day and I thought to myself, I wonder if there's something we should be doing, because we haven't actually taken him for a very long time for any kind of vaccination. But other than that, I mean, it was quite lovely. I mean, not only was it convenient for me to visit your practice, but you were highly recommended. So
thank you.
I think we had that conversation.
Yeah.
And I mean, I obviously know now why. And so I'm glad that you were recommended. And I'm glad that we've also been happy with your service.
Yeah.
We actually want to discuss, we need to have a conversation about part 2.
No, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
So you know what, Aamirah, I'm so happy you brought that up, because as our conversation today is going to be on raising a child and sometimes a sick child. So I remember when we first met as well, you were going through the colic. As pediatricians, we see that in the first 18 months. That's why we see you every 3 months routinely until 18 months. And then, like you say, then we see you once a year because we know they might not get sick. But just take me through those first 18 months. I know we did even hydrotherapy. We did a shoot together.
Yes.
In that 18 months.
We did.
In the topic of raising sometimes a sick child, what goes through your mind? What was going through your mind during those colic times?
You just reminded me about colic. I had completely forgotten the trauma of colic.
Because most of my moms, that is something every day. I probably, out of the 15 patients I see, 10 of them, if it's new patients, new moms,
go through
the colic issues always come up.
Sure.
Colic, reflux, skin rashes. Yeah.
Gee whiz. That's one thing I'm not definitely looking forward to the second time around. But
and congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Second time mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel a lot more prepared now, at least, and I know my way around. So I'm excited. Sure, colic, where do I even start?
Yeah.
I think at first it was something we didn't know, obviously.
Yeah.
It was sleepless nights. Not obviously expecting a newborn at that age, under 6 months, to have a full night's rest. But obviously there was a disruption in the sleep pattern, which we had picked up, but also just a general irritation throughout the day.
Yeah.
So that was something that I also picked up quite quickly, simply because obviously, you know, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I'm still a stay-at-home mom who now obviously I'm running a few projects on my own. But that was, it was something that we picked up, and I think then we had the conversation. I remember the nanny that I had at the time.
Yeah.
She was also quite intelligent and quite
great.
bright.
Did she have kids of her own, maybe?
She had, so her kids were in high school, so her kids were much older.
Okay.
But it's because she's worked in a creche and she's worked with other she's also helped and worked with other families who had newborns.
Yeah.
So she immediately said to me, I mean, initially people were suggesting things like your gripe waters, etc. And then I thought to myself, yeah, I'll just, before I buy those things, because I'm not a person who likes accumulating OTC medication without really like knowing if it's going to work. I get that it's safe to use without a conversation with a medical practitioner.
Yes.
However, I found it counterproductive if I'm not really sure if it's really going to work.
Yeah,
so I thought to myself, okay, before I go buy Gripe water, and I can't remember what else was recommended.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, let me just maybe consult with the professional first. And I think we might have been due for a meetup with you.
Yeah.
And, or if not, I might have sent a message to, highlight that this is what we're going through now.
Yeah.
But I remember she was the one who introduced me to Nexium. I've never forgotten that word, the name of the medicine, because
So
I was like, what
nanny,
is that?
So your nanny knew about Nexium?
Yes, she knew about it, and
Oh
she
my
told me
goodness.
specifically.
Yes.
She said, ask the doctor for Nexium. It's going to work wonders. It's the one that's really going to help. It's really going to work. But that aside, obviously, we did come to see you and we did visit you, and you also tried, because I understand and I respect also the fact that your main goal as a medical practitioner isn't always to prescribe medication for children. Sometimes you feel that if the body can heal on a natural way, it's better. The prescriptions come in cases where you feel that this is going to need X, Y, and Z category of medicine for it to improve, for the situation to improve. So it was that moment where I also felt very I felt very much at ease putting my trust in you, because you are one of the doctors who I know are not quick to prescribe unnecessarily. So that is something I do respect and I don't take very lightly, because as someone who, I'm no homeopath or anything like that, or into like but I appreciate the fact that you are always cognizant and thoughtful enough to always bear that. If the child doesn't need an antibiotic, then we don't have to prescribe it. You kind of like pay attention to the primary symptoms. And make a diagnosis based on that, and secondary symptoms or history, if not symptoms. And I think that attention to detail also made me feel at ease to say, okay, at the second time, because the first time we came, you didn't actually diagnose it. And then you suggested perhaps we try, I can't remember what it was, but you suggested something else first. And if it didn't improve, then we had moved on to having this Nexium product added on, which was a great value add, just by the way. But I appreciated that approach that you took, because not only were you being, again, cognizant and mindful of the fact that, if I can save her the effort of buying a product that she probably won't need, and she's going to be now left with an entire box of it because it comes in specific packages, and, there's a saving element as well. I think the colic lasted... I don't remember. I think when it ended, we were already in the next stage of the infancy growth, that you kind of forget how long it actually lasted. But I do remember that the medication, the tips and the information that you provided was very, very useful, because I did see an improvement
on that.
And
so I'm so happy you actually went that route, because remember I told you the 3 common baby stuff. It's the colic and then we see reflux, and then we see the baby rashes. So when it comes, I remember even saying this, that, these, we know as doctors, these are common stuff. We know that they actually happen because sometimes of the anatomy, meaning the way the esophagus attaches to the stomach, and as well because of the acid. And as well, they are developing babies.
Yes.
So I'm happy you'd mentioned the Nexium, because with the Nexium, we usually use it for reflux. So, and I'm happy because most of my moms actually think that we use Nexium and we're not supposed to be mentioning product.
Yes.
But
but
since you mentioned it, and since it's a common thing for our moms, we'll just go down that route. So when it comes to colic, this is where our Gripe waters come through. And just to also educate us as well, usually if you rub the stomachs and you do bicycling and you de-wind them, then they do get better.
Yes.
So, but what happens is sometimes we do have to give them simethicons. So what we do is then we give them gripe waters. But do you know the real issues with the gripe waters? It's two things, mainly the sodium content and then alcohol, Aamirah.
Yes, that's why I was
so most of them, the gripe waters, the reason why as pediatricians we have issues with them is the alcohol content. Did you know that some of them actually have 4.4% of alcohol in it?
That's one of the reasons why I never bought it to begin with, because I was just like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this.
So there is a product that we have that we do prescribe. And I'll tell you for the next one.
Yes.
Offset that you
can
actually
use. I think you might have given
use.
it to me because I think we started with that.
The
because,
drops.
Yes, it was the drops. Yes, the drops. The drops. I won't say the name.
Yes. The drops.
I know the medicines. I know the groups now that they categorize
So
them.
the drops you can do 8 to 12.
Yes.
And then you can do it like when they are actually showing symptoms.
Yes.
Then when it comes to reflux, I'm so happy you mentioned that. We have to give them antacids, and Nexium is one of the products. With antacids, we sometimes, as well, even with reflux, we try and avoid medication. And I'm happy you said that. Because as a doctor, then we always try and say, position them 30 degrees or 45 as the reflux position. And then as well, we try thickening feeds as well, if that is necessary. But to be honest with you, like what you went through, some of the babies cry so much at night. They cry for like 4 or 5 hours because they actually feel the heartburn. And that's when then as pediatricians, we come and we prescribe something. So we give them antacids like Nexium to lower the pH, and then they get comfortable. And usually those symptoms, go away around 6 months. So I'm happy we are having this conversation because this is the conversation I probably have, as I said, 6 to 7 times a day. As a pediatrician. This is more than cardiac disease, more than brain issues.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So those are the common things of the newborn. Now, moving on, I remember when your son got older.
Yeah.
You went through the dreaded hand, foot, and mouth. Yes. I remember that. And I actually called you because I was telling my patients, go to her page because all of them were coming in. And can you believe we still see lots of it? Hand, foot, and mouth, on a daily basis.
Honestly.
So when they get older and they go to crash, they get exposed to Coxsackie. As medical people, we call it Coxsackie 16. It's a virus. And unfortunately, you get it in all crashes. You get it in soil. You can get it in surfaces. It's contact. And the kids come with it. But you know what? I want to hear from a mom's perspective. So tell us about that time and how you figured out what you went through, how you actually got to your diagnosis.
Sure, it's still my worst fear because I'm under the impression that he can still get it again. But I believe that the older he gets, it probably the likelihood would not be,
that's true.
Simply because he's already had it once. But the fact that I know that he can still get it again, I'm always nervous because I just never know when it's the season, or sometimes the school would notify us to say it's hand, foot, and mouth disease season. Please make sure that your child's hygiene. I'm like, ooh, should I keep him home for a week? But it doesn't really help. How did I find out? Okay, so he had woken up that morning. He was completely fine. There were no red flags for me to have thought that there was anything suspicious. So I got him ready for school. He was dropped off at school. Within 2 hours, which I believe it might have started to progress, perhaps after his morning routine, I don't know, but nothing was visible to me. Within 2 hours, around 11:30, 3 hours at school, 11:30, I get a message from the teacher. She sends me an image of was it his foot or his palm? I think it was the palm of his hand. And then she says to me, did you see this? Yes, it was the palm of his hand. She's like, did you see this? And I was like, no.
So you hadn't seen it that morning?
I hadn't seen it.
Oh, and it happens.
I hadn't seen it. So, and it was just maybe like it looked like 3 or 4 little, what looked like blisters that were still forming. So they weren't even fully formed.
Okay.
So then I said to her, no, I hadn't seen this. And then she said, this is hand, foot, and mouth. You need to come and collect him. Then I'm like, hand, foot, and mouth. Okay.
Was this the first time you heard it?
Yes, this was the first time I had heard about it.
And did you know that people always refer to it as a cow's disease, from a cow's disease?
No, I didn't know that, but apparently I've heard people make reference that it comes from an animal. So Now I've heard about it. Now you're saying it, but at the time I didn't know.
You didn't know about it, yeah.
So I was just very confused. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what's this
going
now?
on here?
Okay, fine. I go to the school and I collect him.
Yeah.
I pick him up. I remember them mentioning to me that he needs to stay home.
Yeah.
He needs to immediately see a doctor.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. And then an email was circulated internally.
Yeah.
Notifying all the other moms of his case, but obviously not disclosing his identity.
Yes.
To
yeah.
say like there's been a case.
Yeah.
Or rather, she hadn't diagnosed him at the time. She had said to me, it looks like hand, foot, and mouth. Take him to the doctor immediately.
She probably was seeing some other children in the class, maybe.
Yes.
Was that the case?
Maybe, perhaps.
Okay.
But I think because it was also during the season and because they, as teachers, they have experience and they've seen this thing before.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was that thing that, you know what, please come collect your child. We'd rather be safe than sorry and get a diagnosis.
Did he have anything in the mouth at that time? Or it was only in the palms?
At the time, that specific day, no.
Nah,
but the next day, it had progressed to that. So it felt like it started that morning.
And
because
then it just
suddenly,
kept
as a
on
day
showing you more
progressing,
signs.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So then, collected him from school. We went home. I informed my husband, and then I started asking myself, like, okay, do I take him to the doctor if this is this virus that is so highly contagious? Do I first send maybe a message to, like, do I bring him in or not? And I remember communicating something along those lines as well to say, do I bring him to you or not? So there is a GP that's nearby me.
Okay.
And at the time, I wasn't sure, like, should it be a GP or a specialist?
Yeah.
Also based on availability.
Yeah.
And this thing needs to be sorted out now. So eventually the first time I was introduced to this specific GP, I went there and he had availability like now. So I brought them in. They first asked for pictures. They said, okay, you can bring him in. Then I brought him in.
Yeah.
And then he confirmed, he's like, this is the hand, foot and mouth disease, etc. Then I informed the school to be like, yes, that's the case.
It is confirmed now, it's diagnosed.
Then they circulated the communication with other parents and had closed the school for one day to disinfect.
Wow, that's a good school. That's a very good school.
It's also
because I know some schools who don't do that.
Yeah, no, shame.
Because of business, they say no, we can't lose business because it's so common.
They closed the school for one day to disinfect it.
Yeah.
What I did learn about, fast forward, I'll go back to other details of his signs and symptoms and what we experienced. But what I did learn about hand, foot, and mouth is that he had already had the virus a week before, and it only shows symptoms a week later. Yeah. This is what I was made to believe, to say, like, because when the doctor said to me he can go back to school on Monday next week, and I remember thinking to myself, is that enough time? Like, will he have fully healed? And he had said to me, the fact that he's now only showing blisters means that he already got it like days ago. Yes. So I don't know how far true that is. You probably know a lot better than that. So we call it like
it's an incubation period.
Yes.
So if you're exposed to a virus or bacteria or any form of disease, it can take up to 21 days.
You see.
To actually manifest symptoms.
So we wouldn't have known.
Yeah, so I find people will always point a finger. Moms will say, no, it's the dad. And I'm thinking, no, but you know what? Just because your child has been, only showed symptom 3 weeks later, it could still be a different exposure. Yes. So I'm happy he actually said that to you. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. And then it kind of put me at ease as well to understand.
Yeah.
I remember even cancelling a party because even the 7 days had passed, but his blisters were still so visible and they were bad at this point. Now they had fully, and
they were starting to peel.
They were starting to peel and heal off. And I thought to myself, as much as the doctor is saying he's not contagious, he looks scary. So if I take him to this kiddies party, everyone's going to ask, what happened? Yes. So I thought to myself, let me save him the trauma and myself as well, the conversation of constantly having to repeat and knowing that it's such a highly contagious virus. So I thought to myself, let me not even risk it actually, because...
Did you go through the fever?
Yes.
Because that's something that people always come with us. They usually present to us the other way. They come with the fever,
okay,
and then there's no symptoms.
That progressed
and then
after.
Then you say 72 hours later the symptoms come out. And it's sad sometimes the parents will say the doctor missed it. It's not that the doctor missed it.
It hadn't happened.
I'm so happy progressive.
Yeah.
Because diseases progress. As you said, you probably didn't miss the rash. It just wasn't there.
Yeah.
It probably manifested at the time when the teacher was looking.
So, because in the moment I thought to myself, I'm very aware when I change
Yeah.
him. Like, he's got very sensitive skin.
Okay, yeah.
He's always had sensitive skin.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been diagnosed with like eczema or anything like that. But he's
Yeah.
quite prone to rashes. So I usually can pick up and see. Like, just recently as well, I had to change his lotion again.
Yeah.
Because I could see on his neck. And I'm the one who gets him ready in the morning.
Yes,
like
yeah.
95% of the time.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, no, man, I didn't see this. So this thing is clearly growing now. I
Yes.
felt a little bit bad when the teacher had called me because I thought, oh, was I negligent in any way? And I thought, no, it wasn't me. This is definitely
is
something that started now
started
when I dropped him off.
Yes. And how long was his fever for?
Then his
Was
fever
it
started
short?
the next day.
The next day,
Yeah,
okay,
so
yeah.
that specific day I picked him up, he was still kind of okay. But as the day progressed, it was almost like it was peaking and peaking. Then his appetite is going. Then the next day there was a fever. And then obviously we are advised on, take the paracetamol for the
Yes.
fever and the pain. And
Yeah.
this is all you can do. It's a virus. There is
don't
no
have a treatment.
You treat symptoms.
Yes.
If skin
Definitely.
is itching, you use
Yes.
this. If he's coughing, you use cough syrup. But that was the idea, to
Yes.
say there's no quick fix. You have to go through the
Symptomatic
whole,
treatment.
you have to
Yeah.
go through the entire process.
Yeah.
There's no shortcutting this one.
Did he
Mom.
get the sore throat? Because
He got
sometimes
sores in
the
his mouth.
lesions, the sores
Yeah,
in the
so-
mouth, when they go on the throat,
So
they
that was
cry.
day 2.
And they drool.
Then there's no eating.
Yeah.
He's funny enough, his mood, he tried so hard. I don't know if, I wouldn't say tried hard.
Yeah.
He was quiet. He was still very bubbly. He was home that entire week with me. And I was just so surprised that he still had it in him to try and just be as lively and bubbly as possible.
Yeah.
But I saw his pain because
Yeah.
whenever he would walk in the house, because we've got tiles in the house.
Yes.
So we spent a lot of time outside. So
Yeah.
thankfully it was also in December and the
Yes.
weather was quite warm. This was 2024.
Yeah.
December. So it was
Yeah.
quite warm, which was quite accommodating for the situation because we spent a lot of time outside. He was not clothed for at least 3 days, most of
Sure.
the days,
Yeah.
because I was just like, he's not comfortable. He's
Yeah.
itchy all over and let me rather leave him as is. Walking on the grass was a lot more pleasant than walking inside the house in the tiles. When he was
Yeah.
walking on the tiles, he was actually tiptoeing.
Tiptoeing.
and
Oh, my
crying.
goodness.
So
Yeah.
I'd have to carry him up and I
Yeah.
felt so bad. I remember
Did you have
feeling
mom guilt?
I had like mom guilt. I was sad for him. I
Yeah.
wanted to cry for him, but I'm like, he still wants to play and he's still trying to be bubbly.
Yes.
Although he doesn't want to eat, he's obviously not his usual bubbly self, but he was trying his best to just go on with the day, go on with his
Yeah.
life, despite these, these blisters
These
that have
blisters and
now
everything,
taken
yeah.
over his body. We treated those. There was a day, I think on day 3, I started feeling like none of this stuff is working. And I'm just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It looks like it's getting worse. And I know that it has to get worse before it
Yeah,
gets
before
better.
it gets better, yeah.
But it was painful to see. And then seeing him now scratching it off and struggling to not scratch because we have
Yes.
to advise and help them not to
Yes, yeah,
scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really tough. But he did his best, I believe. He still has a lot of marks still left from that.
Some of the scarring, yes. Because if they don't heal nicely, unfortunately,
yeah.
it takes a while, but they will go away.
Yes, eventually when he
Yeah.
grows up. So he's got
Yeah.
skin like mine, which is very prone to scarring with scratching or no scratching. So he did very minimal scratching. I
Yeah,
think he did quite
yeah.
well with that.
Yeah.
What I did notice is that it was not just blisters in the hand, foot and mouth, but also in his groin area
Yes.
and leg area.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, the real pain points for him was the
Yes.
groin area. So the bathing, he was still in a diaper.
Yes.
So for me to clean his diaper, I have
Yes.
to the friction of the
The
wipes
friction
and
of the
that
wipes
was
and everything. And
the
also just
nightmare.
remember, skin is living. So meaning that
Yes.
now we probably had now even, we call it like secondary or comorbid other
Yes.
viruses and bacteria that come on the skin.
Yes.
Because imagine, skin is like a barrier.
Yes.
So now if it's wounded and inflamed, it's like you don't have a wall around the house.
Yeah.
So fungi, other bacteria can come through. But I wanted to then ask you tips to parents when you've got a sick child.
So
Yeah.
I would say I started to do my own research around, and I think you also, because I remember contacting you as well.
Yeah, we spoke about
We
it, yeah.
spoke about it.
Yeah.
You also advised me around in terms of how contagious I now am. And I think I was cognizant, and I took that advice that you had shared to maybe take a step back. As much as it doesn't affect adults, you just never know the guarantee.
Especially what if you were in this condition?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So I then made it a point, and I took it upon myself as well, to minimize interactions. So I'm somebody who, obviously, I'm quite active, so I go to the gym 5 days a week.
Yes.
I didn't gym that entire week, simply because I don't want to go there and leave it for somebody else to pick up, to take home to their child.
And people don't do that.
Yes, because as much as I don't gym with children,
don't do that.
yeah, because I thought to myself,
they will just go put it everywhere, and that's how I think a lot of people are getting infected.
Yes, because maybe I'm carrying the virus, but because it's not born to affect me in the manner in which it affects my toddler, that I don't show symptoms. But that doesn't mean I don't carry it. So even things like visits to the pharmacy, my husband was doing that simply because, and even the groceries for that week, because I was just like, let me not risk it by going.
Yes.
Even though, what COVID taught us just to sanitize our hands only. But then the virus might be, I don't know where else.
In the mouth.
Yes, who's to say that it's only carried in the hands when then you go deposit it and then you put it. No, guys, it could be here on your forearms.
So imagine what I go through every day when I go home with my kids.
Excuse me.
To my kids. Every time I've got such mom guilt. Every time I see a blister, I know I'm the And sometimes they come to you, you hug them, and then you kiss them. And you're thinking, no, you shouldn't have kissed them. You were seeing a child with hand, foot, and mouth, and then 2 days later, twing.
Or anything else. Yeah. And I always wonder, medical practitioners, like, you guys go home every day, you deal with these symptoms, and I know you're used to it, and I know you do your precautions, and you do that pretty well. No one's questioning that, but I always wonder how often you guys actually get sick and catch on some of the things that you're faced with.
Yeah.
That's why for me, I don't go to the doctor sometimes with certain things. I'm just like, should I come or should I stay home? Because I don't want to come with my child and then I'm in your waiting room.
Yes.
My son's busy waltzing around, coughing and touching everything he possibly can, and then potentially infect other individuals. So that was one of the precautions that I took. I would probably, recommend that to other moms. The second, like I said, I didn't go, I canceled the party.
Yes.
Even though it was 7 days later, his blisters were still looking really not pleasant visually.
Yes.
So I thought to myself, to save myself the headache of having to explain and reiterate, hand, foot, and mouth, and stress parents out, because we know every parent is very concerned. And also, I'm no doctor to declare that, but he's no longer contagious.
Yes.
I understand the idea that I was given by you guys, but now I can't just walk around and announce that freely, like I'm 100% sure, because it would hurt me to then learn that someone else's child got sick
because of
it would have just been too much of a coincidence to be like, now my son has this thing or my child has this thing, and you had said this. So that was the other thing. So I think that would be the advice to, obviously, if you're the primary caregiver, the person who's looking after the child at the time, maybe also minimize the contact that you have with external
external
the public,
people.
Just to
I think that's very thoughtful
that.
Advice.
And then
and
don't
in
do
terms
too
of
many.
home, I really love the fact that you're also a family woman.
Yes.
If I use that word.
Yes.
So how do you balance now the husband, the kids, the nanny? How did you find that? Because my mom always says our husbands are like our firstborns.
Yeah.
And it's an African, I know it's an African, there is an African proverb in one of the cultures. So because now there's a sick baby in the house, but the house must still continue.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Yes, yeah.
My nanny, she's very supportive. I still have her today. She's still with me today.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome. Yeah.
For me, the biggest blessing is that I get to be a stay-at-home mom, so I get to be there fully involved whenever my son is ill. I'm never in the know-how or having to be leaving him behind in another person's care.
Yeah.
So primarily that would be my focus, simply because there's medications to be prescribed and I'm the person who was given the information on how things should
work.
be given.
Yeah.
Although I'll bring everybody up to speed. With regards to my husband, obviously his life is different in the sense that he's, the sole provider at home. Well, I'm a provider too. I provide differently than him.
Completely understand. Yeah.
It was Yeah, it was quite challenging. It was a bit challenging, but we managed because I kind of had to bring them up to speed. One, two. Sometimes maybe if they don't fully understand, it can be frustrating for me, especially if
Yes.
I need maybe I'm now doing something specific, like I'm cooking and I've reiterated, guys, these are the steps to follow for this particular case.
Yes.
Why is it not happening? But it definitely changes the running order of the household.
Yeah.
It does interrupt it a bit.
Yeah.
And it feels a little bit overwhelming sometimes because, like I said, being the primary parent, it takes a toll on you because yes, you're bringing everybody in the household up to speed with what's going on, but it's almost like half the information is being lost and not being
Yes.
executed correctly.
Yeah.
I have to still check in and ask, was he given... Did you
Did you
remember?
remember?
But also, why am I having to do that when we all know that he's got this virus or whatever the
Yes.
case may be? So yeah, that can be a little bit tedious sometimes, but I am somebody who I vocalize my feelings a lot. So
Yeah.
if I'm uncomfortable, everybody's going to know in the house.
Yes.
I don't suck things in anymore. It's really hard to do that when you have kids. So there'd rather be a little bit of tension knowing that this is why I'm not happy than for me
Yes.
to kind of suck it in and try to do everything on my own.
I'm so happy to hear that because they always
Yeah.
say, as women, we're the temperature in the house.
Yes.
So if we can make the temperature hot or cold, but for us to do that, we have to be authentic and honest.
Yes.
And a happy home, I know that as well from raising 3 kids and having a
Yes.
husband. If I'm not happy, we must have a family meeting. And thanks, Aamirah. I enjoyed this conversation. And I am
Me
so excited
too.
as well for the next phase, for the next journey, chapter 2.
Yes.
So,
yes.
and you know what? I'm so happy that in this conversation, we managed to capture very important topics: colic, reflux, and then rashes. The rashes, you can see they go past 18 months. So with the hand and foot and mouth specifically, you heard what Aamirah said. They can get rashes and papules, pink papules on the palm of the hands, palm of the feet, in the mouth, and also in the throat. But what I like, what you actually highlighted, was that the rashes can also come elsewhere. They can come on the legs. And also once they go on the groin, trust you me, there probably was a concomitant or a secondary yeast infection.
Yeah.
That's what usually happens. Then now we probably have to mix some creams for you.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Aamirah. This is absolutely
Thank you
amazing.
as well. Thank you for
And
your time.
sending you lots of love.
Thank you. We can't wait
And
to
a
see you
safe
again.
journey. Yes, and a safe journey
Thank
as you go through.
Yes.
Yes.
The next one.
Yes, no.
It'll be pleasant.
Thank you. And then hope to have a conversation with you another time as well.
Yes, I'd love
Yes,
to.
yeah. So thank you very much. And that's it from us. Conversations with Dr. Pede. Again, Dr. Machaba. Thank you very much.